Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Untold. I'm your host, Ahmad ALMazeedi, joined by Hussein, Ajouz, and boy, we've had so many wonderful episodes.
Yes, we did.
And we can't just let them go. We want to go back and revisit the best moments on the Untold, the best stories that have been told on the Untold.
One more time for me. On the told, on the untold. No, a lot of lessons also learned.
Yeah.
So grateful for them.
Yeah, we've had guests from different backgrounds, different topics. We've learned and grown over the period of making this show.
100%.
And there's just so
Every
much.
conversation had a thing to it.
Had a thing to it.
Whether it was art, traveling,
yes.
adventure, sports.
And each brought its own unique story that
Yeah.
made it memorable for the both
100%.
of us and the
100%.
audience. But here is your chance, if you missed it, to catch it again. Let's roll the clip. Welcome back to the show on The Untold, and we're welcoming our very special guest, student of theater, or I should say a master of theater.
Exactly.
Allison Sean Price, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Untold.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly.
I guess I want to begin with the beginning of your story. First of all, you're an expat from the UK,
Yes,
right? Been in Kuwait for
nearly 40
almost
years.
40 years.
Yeah.
That's 4 decades.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Time flies.
Yeah.
Why Kuwait? What got you into theater? Was that something you studied earlier on?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yes.
My parents were really heavily involved with theatre. I remember watching my mum from the wings when I was little. And if she ever had anything, then I had to be the little child who was in the show.
Okay.
So any show, and they say, oh, I've got a daughter who could do this. And I used to turn up and find out, oh, not the baby again. So that sort of situation. I took physics. My father decided that theatre wasn't the right thing for me to do, although I was in the National Youth Theatre of Wales and I toured quite a bit.
Fair.
So what happened after that is to go into theatre. My own children hadn't got much to do in Kuwait, and I gave parties. Basic parties where we made things out of paper and took the house out and stuff like this. So it was all fun and games, and he'd invite a few children and everybody would come from the neighbourhood.
Oh,
So I thought, oh, there's something children need.
Right.
So I opened a drama school.
nice.
So that was called Cast.
And we're back on The Untold with our special guest, Ala. How's it going so far? Loving
Good,
the
good.
interview.
Yeah, it's really flowing good.
Yeah. So, you are a champion in horse riding. You've had so many competitions. Tell us about these experiences, how you prepare, how you get ready for a competition, the medals you've won.
To be honest, and with all humble modesty, I would say that I've probably only reached near 50% of what I hope for as a rider.
Wow.
If you ask every rider's, dream, it's to be in the Olympics. And
And the Olympics.
this is something, with this sport, I would say it's really difficult. Not because the Kuwaitis don't have the level required, but the horses that you need to compete at that level.
Wow.
You're talking about millions of euros
Wait,
worth
how
of
much
horses.
do these horses cost?
I mean, there are some people who, for example, can't afford to buy these horses. So what do? They breed a lot of horses. Let's say they breed 100 horse and hope one of them is going to be the star. And then there are people who can afford it, or countries that support these
Give me
riders.
a rough figure. Roughly.
Oh, if you're going to the Olympics,
If I'm going to the
you're
Olympics and I'm getting the best horse.
if you wake up in the morning and you say, okay, I'm going
Yeah.
in a year to the Olympics, and you're gonna buy that horse, you're looking at not less than 2 to 3 million euros.
2 to 3 million euros.
Affordable, Ahmed. Huh?
If you want to
A million
compete.
KD roughly, maybe it's like wow.
I mean, again, if we go back to the details that a lot of people don't know, there's a horse that you can buy that you can go from start to finish line and maybe knock 6 or 7 fences on the way.
Oh.
These are not going to cost as much, but if
Yeah.
you're in the Olympics, you should be there to compete.
100%. You should have the best.
Yes, I mean, it's going to be difficult to have the best,
It's
but at
difficult to
least
have
that
the
you have
best.
a
What
chance
is the
to,
best?
finish the round in a, let's say, in a presentable way. So if you want that horse that's going to give you a chance to at least try to compete, and
Yeah.
and not have all the you can buy a horse that has all the fences down for like
Exactly.
200,000 euros or whatever.
So is it the genetics that helps the horse, or is it the rider training the horse and the collaboration they have that turns them into a successful pair?
Believe me, even if you're the Lionel Messi of horse riding and you don't have the horse that's gonna. You need the horse. You
Brief
can.
introduction.
I will try to make it brief. I know it's very difficult. I know, it's always very difficult.
No, I love giving briefs. Hussein Murad is a human, a director, a family person
Okay.
who loves the camera, who loves writing, who loves to produce films and things that deals with cases of
Social justice, maybe?
not social justice. I'm not that kind of person, but present problems that faces the society itself. Even though at that time I started with Alabi Sporting Club as a goalie. By the way, even I'm short, huh?
I mean,
But-
You're probably good at it then.
I'm very good.
Good.
That's how confident I was. Samir Saeed,
Okay.
may his soul rest in peace. I was really he was our neighbor, by the way.
Okay.
So at the same time I was training with him back there. So he was my role model, and I tried my best to be same like him.
Same level of effort, same level of
Yeah,
hard work.
even though he's older than me, I used to
Yeah.
be under 12, under 14, and at that under 14 years old, I was training with the first team at that time. I was picked in 1989 to represent Kuwait national team
Nice.
for the youth.
And then you did that, and then you changed your whole career in the
Yeah, take us
pre-calculus.
back to that moment where.
So you
That
that-
moment-
that built a
Yeah,
lot of
what
big character.
happened?
It was
Take me
there was
through
there
your
was there was an
process.
equation in front of me, like at the board.
Of course, you're a mathematician now.
How long was it?
No, it's
very fairly simple one. That was-
So I looked at it. I was like, I don't understand. I looked at my friends. What's going on?
No one knows.
They said it's fine. I was like, no.
No, this is not it.
So this is the moment that I stopped. I went to the teacher at that time, and I said to him, Mr. Abid? He said yes. I said, I quit. Huh?
Wow.
What?
This is first year in college?
Second year.
Second.
That's my only D in high school.
And boy, look at that.
Here we are.
I told you, so many different topics and
100%.
stories we've covered.
I agree.
Tell me a few things you've learned about yourself hosting for the first time
Yeah, for the
on
first time.
TV.
For the first, I
Yeah.
think. I'll be honest. In first instance, just like anything else, whether it's running, sports, TV, anything else, the first thing that's gonna come to your mind is, it's challenging. I've never done this before,
Right.
and the first question is, why bother, right?
Why bother?
But then again, you have to tell yourself that I believe in a long-term vision.
Yes.
Just like all of our guests did.
Yeah.
My long-term vision is X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it's vague, unclear, but I believe in it. And honestly, just say yes to the next opportunity, and you'll be filming a beautiful episode
Yeah.
on the Untold with Ahmad ALMazeedi. And who would have thought that would happen?
on.
Who would have thought? Not me.
Well, I guess it was destiny, my friend.
What about you?
What about me?
Yeah, what did you learn
What did I learn?
about yourself?
I will tell you.
Untold.
I will tell you
Not for the first time.
after we watch a few more of these scenes.
Let's do it.
Yeah. How was that experience working in Kuwait as a Kuwaiti in a coffee shop?
That's a good question.
It brought too many customers actually. When they find out that I'm
That's
Kuwaiti,
like-
yeah,
yeah.
and they're like, okay, make
Oh.
whatever you like to make for me. I'll just drink it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
Really?
the trust.
Yeah,
It's not something you see every day. A Kuwaiti roasting.
Which is why I asked 100% that.
not roasting, only working as a
Or
barista.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you also know the process of roasting and all
No.
that? No.
No, I'm not into this.
You're not into that?
No.
Okay.
So
So the
the-
barista part is basically
on
Making
making
the
the
drink.
coffee. Yeah.
Making the okay.
And that is that. So now, what about where are you today? Like, are you still in that career? Are you still making? Are you still standing behind the kind of like?
No,
no, not anymore.
What are you
This
doing
was in
today?
the past. Now, recently, I took my AST certificate, so I'm trainer,
Okay.
specialty
you
coffee
train
trainer.
people to become
So I
baristas?
train people to
Do you
become
have like a school,
baristas.
or how do you train?
I will be joining an academy
An
here
academy.
in Kuwait.
Nice.
Yeah,
We have an academy in Kuwait to become a barista.
yeah.
Sign me up. I don't know why I said
That's actually very interesting. I've never met. I'm honestly very interested to know because I've never met people that because you are building a whole career out of something that people think is just a cup in
just
the morning,
simple. Yeah.
and you're
Something simple, yeah.
putting
Well, you
attention.
see, that simple thing is so essential to people.
You bring different types of beans
Uh-huh.
and you roast it,
Okay.
okay, and you try it. You bring some people with experience with
This
coffee.
process is called cupping.
Cupping, yeah. You just taste the coffee, taste the cup. Is it nice? Because when you order it from a roastery, not in
Right.
Kuwait,
Yeah.
you can't buy many many.
True.
Yeah, so they send
wanna
you samples.
Yes.
Yeah, they send
get
you
to sample
samples.
them, and then you place a big order.
Yeah, if you like it, just give me.
Yeah.
So for cupping, he said, not in Kuwait, when he go, let's say for Ethiopia or Colombia or Brazil, they give them bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah, because the banana suck the caffeine, make it less.
So while I'm
Because when-
sampling, I should have a banana to like suppress.
In your pocket. Just keep it in your pocket.
to suppress the caffeine.
Yeah, and it
I
really...
never knew that bananas can suppress
Yeah,
caffeine.
because
I
maybe...
never knew that, to be honest.
That's a
Maybe
good
from the
tip.
potassium or something, I don't
potassium.
know.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen from
That's
now on.
interesting.
I'll have a cup of 6
Yeah, and
and a
then
banana.
3
will be done.
bananas right after.
To understand the hierarchy of chefs and the position, so the executive chef, is this the top kind of like managing chef in a kitchen?
Yes.
So
The
that's
executive
right.
chef is the top.
Yeah, and then
there's-
executive sous chef, and then chef, restaurant chef, and
Okay.
then junior sous chef.
So that's why. So whenever you kind of like make the final call, as in this is a good feedback, this is a bad feedback. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
But do you, as executive chef, do you direct people to cook, or do you cook yourself?
I cook myself, but I direct also people to cook. I hire specialty chef for all of my restaurants, so they know how to cook. It's their restaurant. Me,
Yeah.
I'm managing them, and then I'm going definitely around customer every night, touching table, and then see feedback. You can't improve with feedback. This is the only way you can grow.
I love it. So you as a executive chef, part of your responsibility is to also walk around
It's
and
to,
meet customers.
Yeah. Like
ensure my
supervising,
customer
you know?
are satisfied.
I think it's part of a 5-star experience, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Do you go around the tables asking
I'm going
people?
around the
You do
table,
that?
yeah.
That's lovely. I love when chefs do that.
That's-
Yeah,
I think
this
it's
is,
part of the show, right?
It establishes a connection.
It's
Is it part of the show?
it's part.
Part
It's
of the
part,
experience, for
definitely,
sure, yeah.
because we are selling experience today. We're not selling
Right.
food anymore, so
Exactly.
you need them to enjoy their experience and to be there.
Who decides the menu?
Yeah.
We're gonna have this amount of items. We're gonna have this amount of drinks. This amount of desserts. Who gets to make that call in
I think
any
it's executive
restaurant?
chef.
The executive chef.
Executive chef.
Yeah.
So you decided on a lot of
So
things.
have you set the menu for this place, or you already came and the menu was set?
I came, the menu was set,
Okay,
and
have you
then
played with it?
we have
You
been
did some magic.
change it.
Okay, good.
Not all.
Not
we
all,
keep
but
the
you-
favorite and
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but then you need to come
To
with
come
new
up
plate
with
because
new.
your
Of course.
customers are coming back and then they want to see new things and
have to adapt.
then
Is it easy to come up with a new dish that
No.
hasn't been made before? No.
No.
You can't come up with something new. Everything's been made.
no, you can come with, but
Like a
it's
twist
it's,
on
it's,
a-
a, it's a
an
lot of
existing
it's a
dish
lot
maybe.
of
But I
work.
think
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
work.
any plate you make, it has to fit the local taste as well, right?
You need to fit your local taste. You need to
And
fit
the
the identity of
restaurant
your
side,
restaurant.
yeah.
Okay.
The,
So one of the questions I have, and it's always such a, I'm so curious about this. Why is it that in fancy restaurants that the plate is so big and the portion is so small?
because when you go to this restaurant, you
Yeah.
get 17 to 19 small portion. And this is where we call it more or less the 2 or 3 Michelin start.
Oh, okay.
You
so-
don't go to this fancy restaurant and
get a
having
feast. You don't get a
3
feast.
dish.
But sometimes it's like it's
It's
tiny.
kind of like so small.
Sometimes it's like a drop.
Because it's a bite. It's a bite. And this bite have all what you need in one bite.
All the flavors.
All the flavor are here. And then you move to something else. So you're going to a full experience. And that's going to 2 or 3 Michelin star restaurant when it's more about a bite. El Bulli was the
So
first
that's like
one.
quality versus quantity. Literally.
I want to get into the business side of things. What would you say is the average ratio to cost and price? The average ratio, you would say, like this cup of coffee costs $10, and the cost to sell is maybe 20. It's just like an example.
Cost of ratio, we're around the 30%.
30%.
Yeah.
That's the average in restaurants anyway.
That's an average. 30, 32, it's an average restaurant.
We're back on the show, and we're being joined by a very special guest, a son of a first guest we had on this show, the very first episode, from Fawzi Msallam, the life coach. We have a world traveler, Faris Msallam. Welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. It's
Welcome
nice
to
be here.
this place.
Thank you so much.
Place for inspirational people and
great
a
to
lot
be
of
here.
untold stories.
I don't think I've interviewed 2 generations, you know?
Exactly. Neither have I. We should have you together.
Together.
There's
the
a
next
first time
episode.
for everything.
First time for everything.
I'm sure there's a first time to a lot of traveling, a lot of adventures, a lot of exciting stories, which hopefully we'll unbox today.
Yes.
So shall we start by explaining what you do? You're a traveler. You're a world traveler. But perhaps let's be more
Also,
specific.
what's your background
Exactly.
and all that?
Okay. Well, when I say I'm a traveler, the word traveler also has a few connotations, and people usually think traveler means I have a backpack and I'm
Right,
I'm
backpacking all the world.
hiking
Hiking, yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah.
Which is one definition.
One definition.
But there's many different ways that people travel.
Yes.
And the way I travel is I've always had a focus on, let's say, history and culture. And I think that comes from a bit of my own personal history. Growing up, we lived in many different countries from a very young age. So we lived in Turkey, we lived in Morocco, we lived in Tunisia, and then and that's where I graduated high school from. So already growing up, there was lots of mixing with different cultures and different people, and I think that kind of sparked the curiosity and let's say the familiarity of travel. And from there, I moved to the UK for university and for my master's degree, and then I came back here. And
What's your bachelor's and master's in?
I have a degree in advertising management and brand management, and a master's in corporate brand management.
Nice. I love it. Nice.
And I worked in that field for 16 and a half years.
Wow. Wait. Hold
Yes.
up a second.
16 and a half plus 18. You know the GIF with maths?
You look too young for that experience
I'm
right now.
36.
Mashallah.
You're 36.
Mashallah.
I'm
Wow.
36.
Okay, mashallah, you look
You
great.
do not tell. Cannot tell.
Surprise.
So-
Good genes. Good genes.
You went to the UK, pursued an education over
Pursued
there.
education, moved back here. Obviously, I got into the corporate world. But at the same time, I continued my way of traveling, and subconsciously, I didn't know that it was different from what other people were doing. Even in terms of places, because to me, you know, when I would choose a place like, I'd say, okay, I want to go to Hong Kong. People are like, oh, what are you going to do in Hong Kong? You know,
But there's a
what
lot
are
to
you
do.
what are you going to eat? What are you going to do? What are you going to see? It's dirty, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Whereas the reality is completely different. And I enjoyed that sort of feedback or those sorts of responses.
Yeah.
And I would feel a sense of satisfaction in
Nice.
kind of proving people wrong, and
Nice.
you know, in terms of the pictures that I
I've
would
been
take
there.
in the
It's
videos.
always
not
nice.
And it's not what
proving
you think it
people
is. And then, as fate would have it, I met my current business partner through some mutual friends, and it turns out that we have similar interests in terms of travel. And so we decided, okay, let's try traveling together first.
You're both adventurers.
Yes, we have different, let's say, tastes for adventure. He's a bit more adventurous than I am. He's a bit more gung-ho. But yeah, luckily the first trip worked out. We didn't kill each other. And so we decided to slowly expand it and offer it to the public. And this was the way I traveled on my own for many, many years. I do all the traveling. I do the itineraries myself.
You love it. You just love planning.
I love planning the trips. I love researching the trips. I've got tons of trips just on standby
what
right
was
now.
the first country you traveled to, even as a kid? The first time you've been out of Kuwait?
That would be Turkey.
Turkey.
at the age of 3 weeks old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, we lived in
we'll
Turkey.
go with the
What
next-
do you remember?
But we lived there for 4 years, so I do
wow,
have
nice.
some memories of
Okay.
Turkey, the apartments
Nice.
that we lived in.
I guess the first country you went to above age 5. That would count.
Above age 5.
Like the first country you remember
I
going
remember going to that trip.
I mean, even as a young kid, I remember. I mean, for example, I was 4 years old when the invasion happened, and I remember, driving to the borders and
right.
going to Saudi Arabia and flying into the UK.
Perhaps I want to ask a question. You said you plan your itineraries, you plan it step by step.
Yes.
Is it okay to solo travel and not plan it? I never plan it.
It depends. It
I
depends.
honestly-
what kind of
I
trip
love-
you want to go on? You know?
I usually, with my kind of, because I'm so curious, because my kind of traveling, and you said there are many definitions of traveling. My type
So
of
you book the
traveling
ticket
is,
in the hotel and that's it.
I book, honestly, yes. I book a hotel, I have a backpack rucksack, and I just throw in, just stuff the jeans in, the pants in, the shoes in, and I like just walk 25 kilometers every day and just treat each day as if it's, just as it goes.
That is a fun way to travel.
Yeah.
I just personally, for me, I don't want to feel like I've missed out on anything. Sometimes you find out about something on the last day,
Oh, that's
or
very
there's
annoying.
something that you have to book in advance
That's
that you
very
want to go to.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to miss out.
So you'd rather do the research and the planning.
I'd rather do the
booking
research,
everything
and
for-
if I know how long I'm going to be
Yeah.
there, then I know what I can do.
Right, and
where.
you still might end up with days where you get to go out and explore yourself. rather
Absolutely.
than plan, so you can do mix of both.
Yeah, I try not to overpack my days.
Okay.
So I kind of have a rule for myself to not plan more than 3 things per day, to give myself flexibility. And even those 3 things, something might happen, you get stuck in traffic, something closes,
Absolutely,
etc.
absolutely, yes, sir.
So then you
Things
can
don't
shift
count.
it around. And I always give myself what I call like a buffer day, where one day I put
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And I might not do anything on that day because I'm so tired.
Or
I
a day
might
you can use to explore
to
and do
do a
whatever
bit
you
of
want.
exactly.
And we're back on the Untold with our guest, a co-worker, a colleague, a friend, Hadi Al-Msalim.
Thank you for having me today on
course,
the
welcome on the
Untold.
show.
It's a pleasure to meet you for the first time. I know you're his
It's,
friend.
it's actually my first time meeting you as well, so that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to have a conversation with you.
Yes.
All right, let's do
so, we're going to talk about a lot of things.
All right,
But
first time
let's-
being interviewed.
Ooh.
It's always a
The
challenge, by the way.
tables have turned.
I know. Now I feel like now I know how my guests usually feel.
Right?
I'm like wondering what kind of questions you guys are gonna ask me.
I was in that shoes at some point. I was
We're
asked
gonna
all the
start
questions.
simple. We're going to
All
start
right,
simple.
all right.
Start
go.
simple, start
Okay. I'm
What
getting
brought
nervous.
you to the world of television and wanting to be a TV host?
Well, it's funny because it's always been in like my dream as a kid. When I remember I was like 13 or 14, I used to do my own little shows, if you call them
Nice.
shows.
Yeah.
You know how as kids we used to have this laptop and there was a camera and
Webcam.
a webcam like when it first came
Yes.
out. I think it was like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to record myself presenting and
Just by yourself.
What
by myself.
What,
I would actually bring my brother into it, my
What-
little brother into it.
what made you want to do that though?
I don't know.
Were you inspired by a show, a TV personality, or anything like that?
Not really.
You just wanted to try it.
I just felt like
You
it
felt
was
like
in
you
me.
wanted to do this.
It's just been there for no reason. I don't know. It's just
So you
there.
basically talk to your brother, be like, let's record a random episode on this
No, I
random...
didn't. I would just drag him. He's 7 years younger than I am,
Oh,
so I
okay.
would just drag him and like, today you're my guest, and I would ask him the most random questions, and he would actually
Would you
cooperate.
Would you do it in English or Arabic? That time?
It depends on
Oh, you've
how,
done it in
how I
English and you've
felt.
done it in Arabic.
It depends on how I felt. If I was watching Hannah Montana, for instance, as a kid, come on.
So
I
how old
watched
were you
it.
back then?
She said like 12, 13.
You were 12, 13.
12, 13.
What kind of questions would you ask him?
I can't remember, but I remember actually my aunt has a copy of it on CDs.
Oh,
and
nice.
she
Wow.
kept it there.
Blackmail material.
No, yeah, she's not gonna give them to me. I tried, trust me.
And we're back on the Untold, continuing the conversation with the amazing Hadi Al-Msalim. Welcome back.
It's time for some serious questions, all right?
Very
So we have a list of questions.
Yes.
we're
But
going to ask you.
how about I ask you questions and then we'll continue the interview.
Are you going to put the TV presenter, TV host
Yeah,
skills
I'm gonna
onto
put
us
on
right
the
now?
personality. Can
Oh,
I get the
God.
cards?
Sure, take
Let
all
me
the
see what kind of
cards.
questions you were gonna ask
I
me
wasn't.
anyway.
I don't write questions.
Okay, so
Okay.
so this is a flip of roles. Let's give it a shot.
Let's do this. Should I
No, you're fine.
start?
Go
3,
ahead.
2, 1, action.
Cut.
All
Okay,
right.
let's do this. Anyway, so the question is for both of you. I do have a couple of questions that I do find interesting. Anyway, Since it is the last of the Untold,
Yes.
tell me, what did you learn from this program?
Shall we say short answers? Yeah, short answers.
Yeah.
No, I want cool answers.
Cool answers.
Like,
I learned that.
he was like, I learned
I
nothing.
I learned that every human being always has a beautiful story. That we need to just simply look at people and ask them the simple question of, what is your story? And once you ask, you'll get the answer. But the problem is, we never ask.
I actually love the name of your show, The Untold. And it's because a lot of people don't tell parts of themselves. They don't tell their story.
Absolutely,
And I think each one of us has something untold in them. And it feels good.
We just have to ask.
You just have to ask.
We just have to ask. What's your story?
Tell me the untold of your story.
Yeah, we try to shed the spotlight on our guests and their stories.
Okay.
Wait,
long?
Wait, 1 second. What have you learned? Well, he's not going to run away. What have you learned, Ahmed? Go ahead.
Yeah, wait.
After the beautiful thing you
No,
said.
no. You're going to have to say
he took it personally. He answered the question.
So I don't have to take it personally then.
No.
Okay. What I've learned is that, like you said, each person has their own story. And I
Okay.
love finding out about the individual.
Okay.
And not just what they do, but why. What
Why?
was the driving factor?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Because
exactly.
that's my first question for every guest almost. What made you get into this profession? I asked you this too. So I'd
Yeah.
like to know what inspired the person
The why.
so they can inspire the viewers.
Well, some people, I find out that some people don't really have an inspiration. They just do it because, it's the only thing for them. Like they are good at it, but
Right.
they don't have the passion for it. And I think that's what makes makes you good from being amazing.
You're right.
You can be
That
good
was-
at something
Yeah.
because you're good at it, but you could be amazing because you're passionate about
And
it.
that was the common factor with most of our guests here was passion.
But passion and something else, passion and experimentation. Every guest we sat with was willing. The one question we asked a lot of guests, and they all answered this exact same way. We asked, why do you get into this field? And they say, I don't know. And that's the best answer, is because I don't know. They're like, by coincidence, it was by accident. I was a kid and I
But
tried it.
Each and every one of them had a story to tell.
100%.
That was the beauty of it.
And then they went into something that they never tried, and they experimented it. And experimentation builds discovery. And when you discover, you find your passion.
And the thing is, in my opinion, the society always has an effect on
Right.
your talent, whatever
Yeah.
that your talent is.
Yeah.
I used to like drawing as a kid. I used to draw all these, cartoon things, but everyone thought it was stupid, except for my friends. So my entire family thought I was like, yeah, it's a phase. You'll get over it. Nobody even supported me with that. So I just stopped. And
Some people won't
Don't
believe it.
stop. Don't stop.
Some people
Don't
will
what
not
did we
believe.
say? Do not listen to the haters.
That's the thing. When you're a kid,
You listen to the haters.
no, you listen to the adults, and they'll tell you what
Because
to
you're
do.
soft, and you're softer. You're not.
Yeah, and you're impressionable and all that.
It actually forms your personality.
100%. 100%.
And it can even change your, the things you like,
Right.
and affect your life. So
So what
next
other questions do
next
you have?
question.
I'm interested in this flip, honestly. Can we just do this for the rest of the episode? I mean,
Okay, sure.
and here we are, where even more beautiful moments,
Yes.
even more beautiful lessons.
Yes.
But before we continue with
Yeah,
them,
you want the
I
answer?
insist on
Yeah.
knowing what Ahmed learned about himself.
This is a different experience for me. I've been doing lots of movies, talk shows,
Yeah.
over, under, clack it. But this one gets me in a different zone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to know my guest and guide them through a conversation that translates beautifully on camera, and we learn new stories.
100%.
The other thing I learned is that you're an amazing friend to have.
Thank you so much.
You know,
Appreciate
and
it.
you have a friend in me now after this show.
yes,
And I'm about to sing Toy Story. No.
No, honestly, I agree with you. I think the most beautiful thing about The Untold, and especially the episodes that we just watched, is the human moments. Is that we connected on a human level. And the best part is that it's honestly a flowing conversation.
Yes.
I don't think it can get any nicer and any better.
Absolutely. And that was the end of our episode. We're reaching our end of the episode here. And
Let's do it.
good night.
Good night.